6 o'clock, meeting will come to order. Quorum present. I declare that. This is a special call meeting. In a special call meeting, we only consider items that are on the agenda. We'll have a regular meeting the first Thursday night in April. Anybody has anything that they want to bring that's not on the agenda at that time, would be welcome to do that. You observe that Joe Bowman's not here tonight, the recorder. She is sick, 102 temperature today. He's not able to be here tonight, so we're recording and we'll carry on. I'll try my best to record some minutes. It's not on the agenda. So we will, since it's not on the agenda, and I don't know whether you have a copy of the minutes of the February meeting there or not, but they need to be approved if there's any questions or any comments.
Motion approved.
I'll second.
It'll take me a little longer to do this. Be sure I get it all written down. Any discussion? All voted?
Aye.
First item under old business is a resolution for chief of police to be authorized to sign checks for the confidential drug fund. You have a copy of that resolution. I think it will be resolution 012 03 02. And it says, of course, that the police chief will be authorized to sign checks for confidential drug funds. And be it further resolved that he will provide the proper documentation and information concerning this account as provided by the MTS manual for drug accounts. It will be presented to the mayor, the board of aldermen, and the town recorder. You need to change that in the next sentence down there where it says the resolution passed on the 22nd day of March, rather than the other day. Resolution 12-03-02.
We're not basically voting over because we've done that once, right?
Well, we changed it.
I thought that basically
Yeah. Yeah, according to the MTS, we had to change it to put the chief of police, and we did have the mayor,
Have the chief of police and the recorder on it.
Yeah.
But it's only to be the chief of police on the confidential side.
and this is just the confidential, this is not the regular.
motion to pass resolution 12-0302.
Any discussion? All voted.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Okay, the next thing on the agenda under old business is the resolutions concerning the annexation of the property down where the wastewater plant's located. We had, that's never been taken into the city. We started that process. There are 3 resolutions that we're gonna have to pass in regard to this. So we'll have to do them in separate motions. First resolution will be 120303. That resolution is to call for a public hearing on the plan of services for proposed annexation. We'll have to have a public hearing on that hearing. And of course, we're not really doing anything but just taking in that property. But this is a resolution to have a public hearing on that, which is required.
I need a motion.
Okay, any discussion? All voted?
Aye.
The next resolution, which would be 120304. Is the actual resolution to annex the property. Of course, again, that's just the property that the sewer plant's on. Here's a map if you're not familiar where it is or interested in seeing that. That's just resolution to annex that property. And it's according to Tennessee Code annotated section 6-51-101 to 6-51-113, which says we can do that. And it's located on North Murray Street. It's owned by the town of Gainesboro, and it is in Civil District number 1 of Jackson County, and it's identified as parcel 001.01 on map 51 of the tax maps of Jackson County. And it's just that one where the plant's already there. discussion? All voting? Then the third resolution will be resolution 120304. What? We'll go with 5, I'm sorry. It's the plan services that we have to approve for that particular plot of land, and of course, it's the same plan that we have for the others. One, we'll have to provide police services, provide fire services, which of course we already provided those. We'll have to prepare our address sanitary sewers. We have to address refuge collection, the same service that is provided everywhere else. So, and then the streets, we'll have to do emergency maintenance, routine maintenance, or whatever needs to be done on the streets. And it also brings in inspection services, planning and zoning, street lighting, and emergency services by the personnel of Jackson County, and street lights, and signage. We're providing all these services everywhere else in the city. It's just that one little. Any discussion? All voted? We will have to do at a later date, we'll have to schedule the public hearing on the zoning. This piece of property is that it will be property zone, and then a public hearing. So that will take care of that, annexing that property. But we'll have to do these, have to property zone it and be sure that it's shown in the property zoning on the zoning map. Okay, the next item is the discussion that we've had about the gun range that has been requested, and Mr. Ellis worked with this change in the municipal code, and I think it probably would be well just to read this in the hearing on those together. Be it resolved that municipal code section 11, chapter 6.03 be amended as followed by adding chapter 6.03 parentheses A. Is to be amended as follows. The subchapter shall not apply to authorized indoor gun ranges as are herein after defined. An indoor gun range is defined as a gun range operated completely within an approved structure. Must comply with any and all laws, ordinances, rules, regulations, and standards established by the laws of the state of Tennessee, the government of the United States of America, OSHA and the National Rifle Association. It shall be unlawful for anyone to operate an indoor gun range without a permit that is duly and legally issued by the town of Gainesboro. An application must be made in writing on a form that shall be provided by the town of Gainesboro, Tennessee, and shall be accompanied by the non-refundable fee of $500. The permit issued pursuant to this chapter shall remain in full force and effect until canceled, revoked, or suspended by the appropriate action of the mayor and board of aldermen. Such permit shall not be transferable. In the event that the holder of such permit should cease doing business at the original location, the permit shall be rescinded and be of no further force and effect, and shall be null and void. The permit issued pursuant to this chapter shall be forfeited if the holder of such permit shall be convicted of any felony charge or any misdemeanor charge involving moral turpitude or violation of any gun laws of the state of Tennessee or of the United States of America. So that's basically what it's saying, that the gun range will be permitted in an enclosed building. Will have to meet all the regulations of the state, federal government, the OSHA, which is Occupational Safety Agency, and the National Rifle Association. And then it goes on to say there'll have to be a permit. That permit will have to be issued by the town. Nobody can operate one without a permit. The permit shall be made in writing on a form that we'll prepare. It has a $500 fee. And then it is non-transferable. If whoever holds the permit, if he or she goes out of business, then the permit will be revoked. It's non-transferable. Somebody comes in and buys it, they'll have to apply for the permit. And also, the permit will be dependent if the holder of the permit is convicted of a felony or misdemeanor or violation of gun laws, then the permit will be revoked. Any questions about it? Bobby can speak to it better than I can again.
This be ordinance number 12.
No, this is not an ordinance. This is a
Resolve, a resolution? Not an ordinance.
it's amending
Oh,
the municipal code. This is
Usually the nature of an ordinance.
it would have to be through an ordinance though, to amend the
No,
code.
the ordinance already there. It's amending the ordinance. Is that not right?
Which I guess be about the same thing, really. I mean, it is kind of a new ordinance, but it's not a new one, it's just amending an old one.
Yeah, but is it an ordinance that?
Yeah, I think it would be, because it, basically, I think it's what you call it as far as name, because it's just like if you're in the legislature, there may be a law, but you file a new bill to amend that law.
Oh, I think that's all right. We can do it that way.
Whichever way you make it do it, now that's the way she's got it over here.
It's basically an ordinance amending an ordinance is what it,
What's amending code, yeah, and I think you have to do that through an ordinance. You know, if you're changing policy, you can do it through resolution. You know, if I want to say that so-and-so doesn't, we're gonna change work hours or something like that, you know, just like we made some of these other resolutions tonight.
right.
Well, we can call it ordinance 1203 dash 02
Hold on,
01.
what you got here.
Okay, that's
I guess technically, to be exactly correct, you call it an amendment to an ordinance, I assume. I don't know where you have provision for that.
Well, the ordinance itself, the wording within the ordinance itself describes what the ordinance is. It's, I mean, it's.
Right.
It's, yeah, we are amending code, but it doesn't matter if we're amending code or adding code or what.
I guess
what it is.
you
It's still an ordinance.
an
Yeah.
ordinance.
Yeah.
questions or discussion? We think this is.
I think it's pretty standard, isn't it, in that basket, pretty standard language.
I mean, I'm not an attorney, I assume it is, but it opens the door for several questions. One, how often does the permit have to be renewed? Two, how did we come from making a simple modification to an ordinance to charging me $500 to bring my business here? And if it's renewable, how often is it renewable? And when you say it's a misdemeanor charge, I mean, I can have a misdemeanor traffic violation and lose my permit.
I think it says misdemeanor violation of gun laws.
Involving moral too.
Okay, so the only misdemeanors that violate gun laws are domestic violence, correct?
Well, no, you illegally have a weapon, I guess, if you didn't have a permit for it, or of course, I guess you've got this already, so that. I can't enumerate all the gun laws, but, certain kind of weapons are prohibited. If you were charged with possession of one of them and convicted, I think that'd be grounds for revoke.
So how often do we need to renew the permit, or is it just a one-time fee?
One-time fee. It lasts as long as you own the business, and that's what the mayor was referring to. If for some reason you were to sell that business, the next person that comes in has to pay that one-time fee.
Right.
It's non-transferable.
They have to meet the criteria like you're meeting now.
Well, yeah, if you can't meet that criteria, you can't run a gun range.
And that's the reason for that.
Right.
I'll give you a motion to pass on first reading.
I second.
The second reading will be the 1st of April, which is a couple of weeks.
And then how long will it take to get this application drawn up?
We'll probably have it done by then.
Any further discussion? All voted?
Aye.
The next thing under old business is Jody has completed her 90 days, so whatever we need to do.
I need a motion hard.
Second.
Any discussion? All voted?
Aye.
Okay, that completes the old business. First item under the new business is, that's no longer necessary, no longer. That was a request from our Government Development District, and all their requests have been revoked, and I think that's already been dealt with anyway. That was a resolution about tap use center up in Liquid County to keep it open, but I think that's already gone. When we assembled and didn't have a quorum, Chief Leonard gave his report. You got anything else you want?
I do.
Clarification. The last meeting that we were at, there was some discussion about the school zone. After that meeting was over with, I went to the dispatch center and had them do some research about how many calls come in while we're at the school zone. And what I just gave to you is a compilation of that. from February 1st, 2011 until February 29th, 2012, 138 calls came in during the hours of 7 to 8 in the morning and 2 to 3 in the afternoon, which required a police response. So what I would like from the board is clarification on whether or not we are allowed to respond to these calls during those periods of time.
I think it's always been said that if you got a call, you knew you could leave.
No, it hasn't been said, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
I'm pretty sure it has been. Now, you may not have understood it, but I believe it has been.
So,
Now, as far as I mean, I believe it'd be pretty knowledgeable to understand it. If you get an emergency call, you need to go.
I agree with you. I don't think that I should have to sit here and ask for the approval of the board to leave my assigned duty station to handle a police call. But yet here I am. So is it the decision of the board to allow me to leave, me and the officers to leave the school zone to handle calls?
Like I said, Rick, I think that's always been known from the beginning. That's nothing new to me.
That's it. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, the next thing on the new business that was on the agenda, and that's again dealing with Mr. Bowers and Mr. Quest Town's sewer system. And we've been back and forth and talked about that, and he, to run the sewer line on the highway right of way, a private individual cannot do that. Has to be a municipality. That's what they told me, Chattanooga. However, he can do that. A private individual can run sewer line on private property if he can get the permission, easements and so forth. You know, I still think that we're gonna get into a problem that we don't need to get into if we lay that line and take that responsibility. Be kind of like our water line across the lake, I think. If he wants to run it on private property and tie into our sewer system where we designate and pay a tap fee just like anybody else on that line, then I think we ought to allow him to do that. But for us to put the expenses, the engineering and the construction and all that to tie on 12 or 13 customers, I don't remember exactly what it is. But now, Mr. Bauer's not here tonight. We've talked back and forth. I talked to the engineer, or maybe not an engineer, but the person with the highway department in Chattanooga. And that's what he told me, and I think that's what he told Mr. Bowers, so I haven't talked to him since I talked to the people in Chattanooga. Excuse me, Chattanooga. That's my opinion about that situation. I mean, that's nothing that we need. What?
Where's gotta be tied on it?
You got to go run it up private property, not the right of way, up there across from where you turn into a high school. You got to go under the road. And there'll have to be another, I understand there'll have to be another manhole put in there. And then he'll have to go and tie on to our existing service center. There's a manhole, there's two manholes over there. One of them we never have been able to locate.
But he can't go underneath the road, right? He cannot himself.
Well, that's what we're going to have to get across the road.
Well, I think he can if he's got the people with the proper licensure and bonding and so forth. He told me that he could cross the right of way perpendicular, but he can't go parallel, can't go along this parallel, but he can.
Oh, he can do that.
He can go across the road perpendicular, but he'll have to have somebody that's properly licensed and bonded and have the equipment and all the things that needs to go on the road, he'll have to get permission from the state. But my understanding, he can get permission, get him just across, go perpendicular.
Oh, but I think the thing of it would be, it would have to be engineered the same way if we did it, is that correct? Which would be extra cost.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. I don't know what his thinking or what his position on that is.
But he's gonna be, if we did this, he's gonna be responsible under the road and all. Anything happens down the road, it's probably not our fault.
Just like anything, anybody else that ties on to our sewer line from where it's tied on to their property, that's their line, that's their responsibility. That's the reason I think, if we laid the line, any kind of problem, we'd have to deal with it, and that's, I don't think we need to
That's
get into
where
that.
I think what I wouldn't want to be responsible for all that kind of stuff.
There's nothing, that's just a discussion, just to tell you where we are with that. It'll be up against people. And then I think there was some discussion between Mr. Bauer and Mr. Dedney, about the joining property, and we had to go across his property. And Mr. Dedney told me in here one day that he wanted one particular contractor to do it. Mr. Bauer wants another contractor, so they'd have to work that out too. Get into that. But that's where we are on that. What? No, we don't. No, we don't need, it would just be,
I mean, like you said, if we go to $25, that's fine. Then, part of it would be bring up the value there.
yeah, it could get expensive. I mean, it would get expensive. But the way it would have to be done is, it would have to be his line. From our line, it would have to be his. And it would be his responsibility to maintain it. Paul Jr.,
My next,
you're next.
I'm here to regretfully tell you, we got denied a grant for a new fire truck. And with the deterioration of engine two, which we were trying to replace, I started looking around at some options for some used equipment. I also called some people, get some prices on refurbished. Refurbished are only anywhere from 60 to 85,000, and as I handed out a paper, if you'll turn it over on the back, this guy's offering me this particular truck on the front's gone, but he's getting in two more like it, they're just newer models with less miles for 75,000. We're also gonna be doing some hose testing. We counted up footage of the hose that we have here in use on the trucks and backup, and got some footage this pipe will need to be replaced when we do hose testing. We usually bust roughly a third. And I got those prices on the back. And the newer trucks do have more cross lays and feed lays, so there's some more 1.5 inches of the prices on the back. And he will deliver it to us for very little more money than what we can afford to go get it. I researched it quite extensively. He has expressed interest in trading on engine two or buying it after we get our equipment off of it. So that may save us a little money, but we're looking at a ballpark figure of 82,000 to buy a more up-to-date truck with poly or fiberglass tank, and pump system, and the hose and stuff we need to help keep the town safer. Got any questions? I know I've not got all the answers on the paper, but is there any questions y'all have?
You get 82,000 trade-in, can you?
No, I wish it could. Wish it could.
Well, that's something we need to look at and, you know, but we have to look at funding too. I mean, we certainly need to update our fire engines, you know, we keep those safe, but it's,
Just mention about what each two may be worth. Most of them, 70s and 80 models are going anywhere from 5 to 8,000 on the internet. Ones at 8,000 are meticulously kept trucks that people are putting back together for antique show trucks. The 5,000 is actually service trucks that's being used. They kind of give you a ballpark figure of what a truck that age should burn. Thank you.
it would have, you know, it's something we have to look at. See if we can find funding and how we can find funding, what the best way to do it is. Any comments about that?
He said we need to look at doing something with it. Find some-
And I'm open to any suggestions, if anybody has any suggestions, that we need to kind of do something. I don't think we need to wait another year and try to apply for a grant, I just don't know if we can make it. I mean, it's pretty bad shape for
You-
tank and pump.
Can you provide some stats on the number of fires we have and things like that, and what the usage
Mhm.
for, you know, the need for another truck's what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Can you do that?
Sure can. Well, one reason we need an engine, the attack truck, it's a mini pump, it don't haul, but a little over 280 gallon of water. You get to the Dairy Queen, that's not gonna go very far with no hydrants on that.
Well, I mean, that'd be good to add that too, if you could just, you know, add, you know, just any information like that, the justification as to why we need another one, you know, because I know I mean, just off the top of my head, we don't have that many fires, correct?
Last few years, we've been averaging anywhere between, call wise, that's not always far, call wise, 22 to 36 a year.
Now, I'm talking about a major type fire, something like
Actual
Shamrock.
structure fires,
Yeah,
probably average 2 to 3 a year, structure fires.
I'm not down
Oh,
with
no,
what you're
I
saying.
don't, no,
But it's easier to justify, and especially when you're dealing with
cost versus benefit.
taxpayers' dollars
Yes,
too,
yes,
you know,
I agree.
so,
That's why I worked on this so hard.
right.
I mean,
And
you can go out there and spend $150,000 real quick on a newer model truck. I knew we couldn't afford anything over 100,000, so I kept trying to look and move back into the years. You gotta find the comfort zone. You also gotta find the truck that fits your area with the small streets, short wheelbase, height. We got low height. We don't got big length. There's several options I had to look at. A new truck like this will run you over $400,000, close to $500,000 for a brand new one. If we stay in this late 90s, we'd probably be eligible for another grant within the next 10 years to try to get a new truck to replace one of the older ones.
Right.
I wish I could do you better, but this is the best I've been able to come up with so far.
We appreciate you looking.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the work that you put into it, and that wasn't
Well,
like that.
I don't like spending taxpayer dollars either. I like to get the best I can for my money that's being spent.
No, I mean, just a justification for it, you know.
We have several areas. One big thing about the engine part, if you had 2 engines, there's not that big a deal. You're running a mini attack that carries 280 gallon of water. If we go to the Dairy Queen that's engulfed with grease fires, we're gonna have to wait on the tankers to get to us, get us water, or lay a hose across the main road and have the main road shut down and divert them through town. That's an awful big hassle when you can roll up with an engine that's carrying 800 to 1,000 gallon and you can really get it knocked down while the tankers are coming.
Right. Oh, I'm not,
Uh,
don't.
No. No, Industry and businesses benefit more from having an engine more so than
And
car
there
cars.
could be insurance issues too, that would, if you get a tanker like this, like you're talking about, that would help lower insurance, you know, for the residents and also the industry too, because that's where your rating comes in
ISO
too, right? The better your ISO rating is, insurance, that's where, you know, people's insurance, a lot of people don't realize that, but it does have an effect. So that's another point, that if that will add to that, you know, go for it, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, there are financing options. Money, so we need to look at those, get somebody that knows something about that. Oklahoma government has got a loan fund, and then TML got a loan fund. We just have to look at it and see what we can come up with. Anything else about that? The next one on there is the gazebo, and I think we handled that the other time. Paul worked on that gazebo up in the park.
Hold on or whatever, just like that is.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a nice thing to start out there, that's what we fix, we fix it, hot and down. It's easy to fix it anyway.
Yeah, I think he's worked on that. I'll check with him again tomorrow and see what that stance is. Okay, the next item is Mr. Wells, and this is the comment before that the bus is in our property down at basement.
And on that same subject, I did request that the lawsuit be dismissed today, and I'm assuming the judge has already dismissed it. So we have 5.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Alderman Gore, Alderman Stafford, Alderman Cassidy, I appreciate the opportunity to address you. I want to commend you for your spirit of public service and your willingness to put in the time and the background work and consider the details for your constituents, for the city. As one of your constituents, I appreciate your involvement in that, and should, during my 10 years in this community, have been more involved myself, at least in attendance, so I appreciate you. There are several of us in this room, in addition to you, that understand that being in areas of high profile and areas that of influence in the community, not only do we have the opportunity to help our individual programs and areas of responsibility advance, but we also offer ourselves up for criticism, because there always is that in disagreement and judgment. It is my opinion, not as a personal reference to you, but on your judgment and the way you've determined to handle this bus with this organization that's done so much for this community in such a short time, to require this bus turned into your ownership. And it's been announced that I delivered the title to the mayor at the meeting we were unable to have. And I'm pleased you're feeling better, Mr. Brown. It's my opinion that your decision to pursue it, to gain control of it, instead of clear up the clerical error that was the heart of the snafu, was at least ill-conceived and poor judgment. Doesn't mean that I have lost respect for you over that. But I think it was short-sighted, and instead of just saying it in the community, I felt it only right to share that information with you. That said, I still appreciate your spirit of public service, and I, along with other people in this room, certainly understand being in a situation where folks disagree, not becoming disagreeable. But I'm sorry that you did that. I am pleased that Ken Lewis and the Bridge responded this way instead of drawing not only themselves, but the city into a protracted legal dispute. That being said, once again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.
Say something. I respect you, respect what you say, but you need to understand the whole thing. The leasehold program says we had to keep that 1 year. We did not have that a year. As a matter of fact, they had it 2 months from having it. So by their own rule, we did not have it to follow what we had followed. And if I understand Mr. Fox here, he talked to the pastor up there, he wrote him a letter. We tried to go the other way. Mr. Ellis, I believe, I'm correct, talked to the DA. We was left with 1 or 2 choices, the way I see it. Lie to the state of Tennessee or pursue the bus. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie for nobody else, I'm gonna tell you. And I respect you, respect your opinion, but from where we was sitting, we basically had no other choice. We tried to go the other way. They didn't bring the bus back. They the one who forced the issue, it wasn't us. So, that's all I'm gonna say. And I respect you.
Mr. Gore, we will continue to respectfully disagree on several points there, without going into further discussion.
Without lying to the state of Tennessee, which I don't plan on doing.
That concludes our agenda, and as I stated at the beginning, since this is a special call meeting, we can't consider anything that's not on the agenda.
Listen, right back here, if all he was, I guess you'll have to go back and April. She didn't have you on here, if you have to come back and April.
Okay. This was the agenda
This
that
was
was
the
drawn,
large agenda.
was for the meeting in March that we did.
Well, he thought he was on it.
I was on it, she said it was.
It's not.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a paper in front of you.
Come back in April, we'll
Just-
take care of it.
Just call her again,
We'd be glad to put you on the agenda. I will make a note of that right now so that you're on the agenda. So tell me what your name and what you are.
My name's Michael Hall, and we're asking for the old slide that was taken down out of the park to put up in our playground in Glen Lake.
Okay, well, that would be on the paper.
See, it's junk down there, but all the parts are still there with it, and we know how to put it back together before it got run.
We'll consider that in there.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Second.
All voting?
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Mayor, now that your meeting's over, I got a question. Come to my attention that we still had some property that belonged to the city. It's not official, we're not in the meeting, but, there is some storage fee on it. And I just need to know, we've sent the paperwork out to the person that was involved in the property, but the city's one had to store it. I just need to know, who that needs to be addressed to. Just the town of Gainesboro, will be fine.
You were saying that the town of Gainesboro was you a storage fee, is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not worth the storage fee, but by law, I've got to send that out.
Okay, yes, send it to the town of Gainesboro.
And, let them know that FEMA will be out Dawson's Branch starting next Monday. And they're offering, armed services from, police officers. We're gonna pay them $20 an hour. And, I believe your guys I'm gonna have some of my guys going out there with off duty. Our SOP's probably think similar to y'all, if it don't conflict with your regular schedule. I'll get some more details about it tomorrow. There'll be an opportunity for them to make some extra money, like 11-hour shifts. They're saying 30 to 90 days what they're gonna be out there, but I don't expect them to be out there that long. So, much work.
have to have, if FEMA has an office set up, we'll have to have a police presence.
Yeah. And I would hope that we could offer it to our people in our county before we'll have to call somebody else from other counties to have that opportunity. And I'll get the details on how to pay and, how that, they called us this evening, give us some initial stuff. We'll start with them tomorrow about 10, get the rest of the details.
We're adjourned.